Okay, guys, here we are, episode 10, Dirty Right Rear Podcast. Myself, Jeremy Booyer, Jeremy Sutton. We got superstar sprint car driver, Gage Montgomery over here. Going to be running a lot of big shows this year. Going to chase the Power Eye and, try his hand at really digging in there and getting down and making some stuff happen this year. Yeah, we welcome you to the show, man.
Yeah, happy to be here. Thank you guys for having me on. I think this podcast is really doing something good for the racing community around here, and just happy to be on.
Thanks for coming on, man. So tell us about yourself. I know you're 17 years old. I do know that. So tell us more about yourself.
Yeah, 17. Been racing for 12 years, I'd say. Been racing for a long time. Just me and my dad going around trying to pick off what we can and having a lot of fun doing it.
So where did you get your start? Was it doe run?
I actually started on four-wheelers at Flickerwood.
Yeah, okay. I didn't think about that. I remember when you started coming to doe run, and
yeah,
man, that's so awesome.
Yeah, that was our first time ever getting into a kart and really open wheel stuff.
So you jumped into four-wheelers and then kind of got into the karts. Did you go straight to outlaw karts, or did you hit anything else up?
Straight to outlaw karts. Mom said we needed a roll cage, so we got into outlaw karts and really stayed there up until the sprint car.
Yep. I noticed that because you see a lot of them jump into the micros and stuff. Any reason? Not well. I mean, I guess price-wise, ain't too much difference. So
we got to looking at it, and I'd say I was probably 12 or 13 when we were thinking about getting a micro. And you get sitting down looking at it, you can buy a 305 and put one together for the same you could do a micro. So we just waited it out a couple more years, and when I was 14, hopped in a 305.
Yeah. And now you guys, I know last year you kind of cut your teeth around, going traveling a little more, hitting some bigger stuff and everything. The big question I know everybody always wants to say, what's it like having one of the greatest of all time be your dad? And people have to talk about it and ask you about it all the time. So, everybody always wants to know what that's like.
Yeah. I'd say at first, for sure, it was definitely a lot of pressure, and maybe still is, but not near as bad. More so, you just feel blessed to have somebody who can run around with you all the time, sit at home with you in the shop, and teach you everything. A lot of people have to go and hire that guy, and I get to call my dad.
Yeah, no, that's
I mean, you got
awesome.
You got a pretty good uncle too. He was a pretty good shoe as well.
Yeah, so he was all right.
It runs in the family for sure. I can remember back in one of your first doe run kart days and taking a picture and posting it on Facebook, and something I captioned it some along the lines of, you was pretty young at that time. I'm going to say 10, 11, I don't know. And I said, man, to have Tim Montgomery as your dad, that's got to be wild and awesome. He was working on the car and you were out playing with the kids, and I was just like, man, not many people are blessed like that to have a dad like Tim with the knowledge that he has.
Yeah, for sure. I never really got to live through the peak of his career or see any of that happen, but just listening to the stories all the time, makes you really want to go back and see that. And just blessed.
That's one thing that we want to do at some point, is get your dad on here and hear some of those stories.
That'll be a long show.
That's okay.
I don't know if we'll be able to tell all of them.
Yeah, well, he'll have to tone some of them down, I'm sure. But,
I got lucky when I ran micros. It was in his prime time, 2000 or whatever, and man, it was awesome. Everybody always talks about the late model guys when they're out there ripping the fence down and throwing sparks and everything, and I think your dad was one of the only I see that would throw sparks off the rear bumper on the wall, so it was pretty awesome.
I know Mark Kaufman tells a story. I wish he could tell the story better than I can, but it was I think it was the year before he won short track nationals. He was in, I want to say it was Larry Dudley's car, and Larry's cars, all of his body panels and wings and everything were different colors every time. They never matched, and they were in staging for the trophy dash. And I don't remember who the driver was, but it was I want to say maybe like a Jason John. It wasn't Jason Johnson, but it was a high profile national guy turned to look at Tim and said, "Hey, are you in the C main?" And Tim's like, "No, I'm in the dash." And Tim went out and won the dash by like a half a lap in that car. And I remember Mark said he got back to the pits and Tim was taking his belts off and he said, "Man, they know who the fuck we are now." So that's cool. And
You got excited there.
yeah. And we won't spend too much time on Tim, but him winning short track nationals to this day, well, not now since they don't have short track at I-30, but up until 2 years ago on Mid-South Forum, people would still talk about, who's your pick to win, and people would still say Tim Montgomery, even though he hadn't raced there in 10 years. So that I'm sure he talks a lot about that race, doesn't he, Gage?
Probably less than you'd think.
Really? Wow.
I bet you he don't talk about much of his cool shit either. Just because
Hang it up on the wall and call it good.
Yep, it's done. He did it. It's cool, whatever.
Right. Yeah. So we'll get on with your career and so 2025. I almost said 2021. Wow. 2025. You're going to step out and run the Power I Series.
Yeah, we ran quite a bit with them the last year for sure, and I think a few shows the year before actually, and really like the series, like the competitiveness of everything, and just excited to go out and do it full time this year. It's going to be different, being out on the road and points racing for sure. Points racing is going to be very different for me.
Right.
So excited to take it on and learn a lot.
Points racing always has its positive and negative, man. You feel like you're locked into a job, but then also it gets cool if you're up there in the mix with everything or whatever. But which that Power I, man, they've already got what, 16, 14, something like that.
So yeah, they've got 16 right now, and I think that's the most they'll actually take. But I mean, obviously, you're going to have some other guys show up.
Yeah,
right. Now I know you. One of the reasons we wanted to bring you on this week was slated next week was your first race at Texas Motor Speedway, but it's been postponed now.
Yes, it is to the end of March now.
Yeah. That's probably a good call. I know. They're calling for super cold weather and snow in the Midwest.
Yeah, we were not looking forward to that.
Yeah. So I have seen a lot of chatter on Facebook. Tell us about this trailer your dad's building. Was you going to have a trailer to go to Texas?
We were gonna. The Barons were nice enough. We were gonna borrow theirs for Texas.
Okay, I wondered.
Yeah. So anybody that knows our race team knows that we were dang near on an open trailer last year by the end of the year.
Right.
Thing was splitting in half, and got to looking around, got a motor here, needs refreshed, a motor there, need to buy a car, it's like, ooh, we can't really go buy a trailer right now. So Christmas Day, I guess, we backed the trailer in the shop and tore it down to a flatbed and been building it up ever since.
So that's the same trailer, just redoing it?
Yeah, which
okay.
makes it even harder.
Right. Now, was that the trailer your dad raced in, or was that a different trailer?
No, it was one of the Standridges
for
a long time. I think the trailer is a 95 model or something like that. And it lived its life. And
right.
I think my grandpa bought it from them for my uncle. I think he bought it for $500.
Oh, wow. Yeah, wow. Yeah.
And then when Joey quit racing, we just kind of inherited it.
Yeah.
And limped it along this far and hopefully give it a new life now.
So let's just tell us about, the traveling, the schedule I got pulled up here is pretty grueling. What's it going to take, equipment-wise, car-wise, motor-wise to do this for a year?
We might not know.
That's very true, yeah.
I think last year last year we got cut short because we went about 2 months there midsummer with no engine. So
right.
Last year we ran 20-something shows, but the year before we ran 36.
Wow.
So I think this year we've got about 50, I think.
Wow.
So, we've kind of done it a little bit, but it's definitely going to take a team and just having everything ready to go, being on our toes.
Right.
Especially for points racing.
Do you have anybody else going with you guys?
No, not necessarily. Brady Williams, he headed off to school, or I guess he's graduated school now. He's working full time up in Montana. So it's just me and Dad, and basically was last year, just me and Dad.
Yeah. So speaking of team, you want to take a minute and thank your sponsors. We're notorious for forgetting people,
Yeah,
Well,
sponsors. So let's why that's on my mind. Let's go ahead and
I made a list so I could be sure.
yeah. Every time we get to something, we forget everything, and then they usually send us a message back, and they're like, "Hey, man, I didn't thank any of my people, even people that own it." And I'm like, "Oh,
So Bob Gifford Homes, obviously primary sponsor. He is definitely the reason we can go out and do this schedule like we've got planned, and the reason we've been racing the past 2 years, really. And Kevin O'Sullivan, he's actually our primary engine owner. He owns that and takes care of that for us. So that's huge, you know.
Right.
And
where's he out of? Because I don't recognize that name for some reason."
he's from Wiener, Arkansas.
Yeah, huh. Pretty good.
He's got a duck club down there, and he's a great guy, good friend, and obviously good sponsor. Purcell Tire, so that's new. We were going to announce that tomorrow, I guess, so it'll be announced by the time this gets out. But, got hopefully a wrap reveal coming tomorrow, and then Purcell, we're going to announce that too. So
Awesome.
that's new this year. Got to go up to somewhere around Potosi, one of them surrounding towns, and meet Bob and Juanita, who are the actual owners of the company, and they are huge. I didn't realize how big they are. They got stuff out in Alaska and everything else. So
Oh, wow.
that's a good deal. And Jeff Davis with Quick Racing Products, he's been a big help. He takes care of us pretty good. He's got some parts every now and again, but then he really takes care of our fueling, which is pretty big as well.
Right.
TLC Horizons, High Caliber Graphics, Rick Danley, Big O. He's been taking care of us lately. We appreciate him. Donnie Cooper, Flipping Pallets with Smokey, K1 Race Gear with Devin Rouse, Larry Minkle, Ricky Stenhouse, and Tripper. So a lot of people go into this, and it would not be possible without them.
So you say, Ricky Stenhouse, that's a name everybody knows. His dad, does he still build your engines?
He is retired, but he is taking care of one of our engines here soon. We're going to send it off to him and let him take care of that.
Yeah.
That's who always done Timmy and all them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know that he was retiring, but I guess it's time.
Yeah. He's got a...
Heck, he's still fighting on TV and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, why
Right?
retire?
Yeah. So if you're traveling all this, that's going to cut into your guys' NASCAR trips.
Yeah, it is. I guess we went to Illinois last year, whatever track that is, right
Is that
outside of St.
Chicago or Juliet or something? maybe?
Gateway?
Yeah, Gateway.
Oh, Gateway. Okay.
Yeah.
Duh.
We went there last year and went down. Was able to go up in a box on pit road, so that was cool. But we really haven't gone to Kansas and everything like we used to. So
You guys used to go to Kansas, Chicago every year. I remember, those weekends, Tammy was never at the track, and I always wondered why, and then, of course, found out why. But
yeah,
So let's go ahead and get on with your schedule here. So we're supposed to start in Texas. That rained out. April, we're going to go into Lee County Speedway, which is in Iowa, and Lake Ozark Speedway. Have you been to Lee County?
I have.
Okay, I didn't
We
know.
turned over there actually.
Did you? Was that the 305?
No, that was probably one of the first Power Eye shows I ran.
Okay.
And I just remember that was one of the coolest nights. Went out, and I've always been a terrible qualifier. Always. Went out and, Aaron Wrights was there, Carson McCarr, all the Knoxville guys was there, Brian Brown.
Yep.
And I think we went like sixth quick
Wow.
or something. Just a fluke almost. And started up front in a heat race and was falling like an anchor. And just trying to go as hard as you can, turned it over. And then made it out for the B just in time. Made it to the show, and it locked down rubber in the show, so I don't really remember where we ended up.
The one time I was there, it was a Sprint Invaders 360 show, and it locked down rubber, halfway through the features, kind of kind of crappy. But they the night I was there, they had a fair going on behind turn 1 and 2, and man, I had a hoot at that. Spent a lot of money on junk food, so that was a good time.
Yeah, it's a really neat fairground facility. The way they got everything set up there.
Yeah,
How big is that track?
Bigger than I want.
Yeah, it's flat.
I thought it was a big track,
But it's fast. It's a lot like 34 Speedway. All those Iowa tracks are black. They're flat. They're big, and all those Knoxville guys are fast everywhere. That's kind of how I remember Lee County. Anyway, I don't know if my memory's right.
Yeah, I don't think it's quite considered a half mile, but it's a big 3/8.
Yeah,
I'm not a big track guy, so.
And it's funny because I consider Lee County and 34 both, they're so flat. Like these aren't going to be very good, but man, the cars fly around those tracks. It's crazy how fast they are.
so I guess no plans this year to maybe hit up some super big places like Eldora or Knoxville or anything like that.
Probably not Eldora. We'd like to hit some Knoxville weekly shows just to get our feet wet, see what we're even looking at.
Right.
Really, this schedule, it's a big track schedule pretty much. It's a lot of half miles. So I've been on half miles. We've went and raced Oski a few times, but that was all 305 stuff. So
Yeah.
I've been on big tracks like Lee County and a 410, but not really half miles. So we're kind of getting our feet wet right now.
So, realistically speaking, I know this is going to be your first, time out on the road, first time running a lot of these tracks. What's your expectations? What would you be happy with at the end of the year?
I'd say you have to start out with high expectations, I think. A top 5 would be huge in points.
Right.
But that'd be pretty nice. So I'd say top 8, somewhere in there, 8 to 5 range.
I know you we talked it over with Lauren Kelly with the IRA. He was on with us about a month ago, and you did that four-day swing through Indiana last year. And I felt like to those that didn't know the name Gage Montgomery, they knew it after that weekend because, man, you had a hell of a showing that weekend.
Yeah, that was a really fun week. That was another one. Just last minute, me and Dad took off and didn't even have hotel rooms or anything. Most of the time, you just went to the car wash and then hoped something was open. And that was fun. I really liked all those tracks. We did skip Terre Haute. And so we just ran those 3 days. But, yeah, all those tracks are really cool. And just at that point, that was when last year was kind of a letdown year for us, really, and especially early. So that middle point where we started picking up some pace there, it was really good for us. It was a big confidence booster.
Well, those races were stacked, man. Those fields, you look through them, and it's like,
yeah, I don't think there was a single night under 45 cars.
yeah, and they were some of the best cars in the country too. So it wasn't like you was doing that, against nobodies.
Yeah.
But then, so Lee County the 4th, then the April 5th, a track really well, Lake Ozark Speedway. You've got a lot of laps there.
I do have a lot of laps there. It's I don't feel like it's ever treated us very well, but we do have a lot of laps there, and that's one place I really want to be able to conquer. We go there so much. You want to be good at those places. So
I think that's most of the racers. They have such a love-hate relationship with Lake Ozark. Such a good place. It's a cool facility. Everything's good. And then somebody must have good luck there, though.
Yeah, somebody.
Because everybody says they have, everybody says they have bad luck there, but then you're like, man, everyone we talk to has bad luck there, but somebody's got to win.
Yeah, you get Hunter Schoenberg, Ayrton Jonathan, and sometimes Obi, and that's about it.
Yeah. Then April 6th, so a 3-day swing here. You go to I-70 Speedway, which used to be a half mile, but I think they're
revamping all that.
Yeah.
I believe.
I really have no clue. I've tried to keep up. I don't know if they've even started.
I have not seen anything.
I wouldn't be surprised if it ain't even available because, that's a lot of work.
Right? Yeah.
And that is a top class facility. So
I've not made it there, but I want to. Then take a couple weeks off, and you got Creek County Speedway in Oklahoma. Have you ever been there?
Those, and what's the one right after that?
Tri-State Speedway in Oklahoma.
Yeah, both those will be new for me.
Yeah. I'm not familiar much with Tri-State, but I know Creek County. That's a little bull ring. So
Well, good.
that I think that's not much bigger than a quarter mile.
No, I think they run a lot of little cars on that track.
Yeah.
'Cause they were actually for sale. There's a huge banner Chili Bowl that was for sale. I think.
Really? Okay.
I believe it was Creek County.
Yep. And then May 23rd, Midway Speedway in Missouri. Where is that?
You're asking the wrong guy.
Yeah.
I've never even heard of Midway.
I know. I was looking at that schedule and I was thinking, I've never heard of that.
Right. Yeah. It's got to be, toward Kansas City somewhere. And
Yeah, I think it's up in that upper left corner. I think.
Yeah.
I looked up some videos. I think it looks all right. It looks flat.
Is that a big track?
I think it's just a pretty normal 3/8.
Okay. So then back to May, we go back to Lake Ozark Speedway for a 2-day show. And then June 6th, Tri-City Speedway. Have you run Tri-City yet?
I have not, and
I didn't think so.
I'm pretty excited for that one.
Yeah.
That place always seems to race pretty dang good.
Yeah.
It's definitely come a long way. It didn't used to, man. Sprint cars there, I used to hate them, but the last 5-10 years, they've really come around pretty decent there.
Man, when you, which I know he wasn't probably even alive, but did you ever go there on the old half mile?
A few times, yeah.
Wasn't that crazy?
Yeah, I remember.
It was about as wide as this garage.
Did you run it? Jeremy, did you run that track?
Oh, no, not on a half mile.
No, on the quarter mile.
Oh, yeah, the little one. Yeah. I was like, no. But, they had the little track on the inside, but the half mile was huge on the outside. And I just remember, like, when the Outlaws would come early, I mean, they would get air from the hump.
Right.
And that track was so freaking fast, and it was about 20 foot wide. And, I mean, it was insane. Yeah, we ran a little track. I thought maybe you just lost a little bit of your mind there for a minute.
No.
Okay.
Kent Buckley tells a story of him. He said that, he took the checkered flag there at the little track and he just let her eat, kept going all the way down the straightaway into the half mile. He said he got down the end of the front straightaway and the car started shaking, vibrating, sounded like it was going to fall apart. And he's like, yeah, I better stop.
What was he in, sixth gear?
He had to have been, yeah.
Jesus.
He was just grabbing gears.
Yeah, that half mile there was just, you had to, like I said, you had to just grab your balls and throw them out the side of the car.
Right. Speaking of grabbing your balls and throw them out the car, June 7th, you go to Paducah.
Yeah.
That's a high banked,
we still haven't gotten to race there. We went there last year. And rained out. That's when we packed up and headed to Texarkana. But that place is it just looks scary looking at it.
Right? Yeah. And then June 12th, we go to the previously mentioned 34 Raceway in Iowa. Have you run a 410 there?
I've not. I ran that 305.
I thought so.
Yeah, I ran that 305 show, and we had good speed. But yeah, no 410s yet.
Then June 13th, you go to Callaway Raceway, which is Central Missouri. And then back to Lake Ozark Speedway for the 14th. And then the end of June, you have an Indiana swing, Lincoln Park, Paragon, and Terre Haute. Ooh, you're not going to get to skip Terre Haute this time.
Nope, we're all in this time. And I haven't been to Paragon either.
Was Lincoln Park one of the places you went last year?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Then you take almost a month off, July 25th and 26th.
Yeah.
And that's July 25th is back to 34 Speedway. And then July 26th, this will be a good one. And Jeremy might actually be at this one. This one, Macon Speedway in Illinois.
Yeah.
And I want to say that's when...
that's micros.
Yeah, WFO Micros, too.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that one. I think the last 2 years for MOA at Macon, either it rains out and they make it up and we can't go, or we just can't go in general, or something always happens. And I've never got to run Macon yet. So
if you could build an ultimate track anywhere, I mean, say you won't put one in your backyard, I mean, Macon is perfect. I don't know if they've ran every kind of car you could ever think of there. I mean, they've ran sprint cars, they ran USAC non-wing sprint cars, micros, heck, we even took the junior sprints there the first year we went, but Macon is just sick, man. And I mean, for a sprint car to be there, it's going to be crazy, man.
Yeah, that'd be hopefully that's a show I can hit. That'll be a fun night. We got us a new sponsor for the Dirty Right Rear podcast. Box 3 Media provides race teams across the U.S. with social media management, graphics for race days, sponsor announcements, professionally written press releases, exclusive product partnerships, and so much more. Take your reach and exposure to the next level for your team and your sponsors. Contact Lauren Kelly with Box 3 Media today by emailing box3racing@gmail.com or calling 920-905-0268.
Hey guys, this is Jeremy Booyer and Jeremy Sutton here with the Dirty Right Rear podcast. We want to highlight one of our sponsors, supporters, and everything else with Expert Graphics, Powder Coating, and Fabrication. Expert Powder Coating and Fabrication is a family-owned business out of Farmington over in the industrial park. You can go over there and get some graphics, lettering, anything for your race cars. Get some powder coating done for your race cars, any other kind of stuff. Get any kind of fabrication also done with them. You can come over there and talk to Andy Moss. He's in there just plugging away at the computer, designing everything, doing whatever he can. You got Dennis in the back with his lab coat, mixing up the powder coat, really getting the stuff going. And then you got Dan over there just fabricating anything and everything you want. But if you want to hit them up, Expert Powder Coating over in Farmington at the industrial park, you can give them a call, 573-756-7324.
Then we go to August. Man, talk about a big, fast half mile. Lakeside Speedway in Kansas.
Yeah. I haven't. We've been there to watch shows, but once again, never raced it, and that's definitely going to be one. I'm sure Ricky will be there because is that during NASCAR weekend? I think.
I think it is. Yeah. And then the following night, you'll be at Lucas Oil Speedway. Have you raced there yet?
Yeah, I love that place. Okay. Lucas Oil that's probably my favorite track.
Is it really? Okay.
Yeah, speaking of facilities, I mean,
I don't get much better than that.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Yeah. Then the following night is Missouri State Fair at Sedalia, another half mile. Man, there's a lot of half miles.
Yeah, it's a big track schedule for sure.
Yeah, it definitely is.
That Sedalia, I think that's when, which you may not know, this guy Casey Barnhouse ran micros and he jumped in the sprint car for a while. I think Sedalia is where he pretty much pooped his pants. I remember him saying he ran a half mile somewhere.
Yeah,
and I can't remember where, but I want to say it was at Missouri State Fair.
Yeah, probably so.
Maybe, but and I think he did wreck there though, which sucked. But I think I remember him saying that was pretty wild.
Yep. Then after that, we go to Monette Speedway on August 29th. Then end out the month of August with a 2-day show at Lake Ozark. And then September, we have Tri-City Speedway. And then September 6th, I know this is a date. Do you know where it is off the top of your head before I go there?
Not.
It's a date you're going to circle because you're going to be one of the favorites to win this show. Benton Speedway.
Oh, yep.
And we know you get around Benton pretty well.
Yeah, that's definitely one we'll circle. It sucks because you get a track so close that you seem to get around pretty good, and then dang near your next door neighbor's even better than you are. So me and Joe V, we haven't really gotten to battle, I would say, there, but he normally outduels me, I'd say, and hopefully that show will be one that we can click off. That place has been great lately on the track surface.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Except for the night I won it, rubbered up on them. But it's so hard when it's so dry, like it was all year last year, and they had a practice show and everything. But
right. Let's backtrack a little bit. I know you've touched on your motor troubles this year, but tell us about the Facebook Marketplace engine of Brad Cookson's that you ran, the last half of the year.
Yeah, we just got in a really sucky position last year. We ran Kevin's motor out of nights, and then our other motor has been sent off since February of last year, and we still haven't seen it.
Oh, wow.
And so, yeah, Cookson, he kept begging us to put that thing in for Queens Royal, and I was begging Dad to, but we kind of knew that we were going to grab that motor for this year, so we had 3 sitting there.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't want to hurt that thing, And so we missed Queens Royal, and that hurt sitting there watching it, And I guess it was the first show at Benton. It was like a Benton, Farmington, Benton 3-week span there. And that first show at Benton, I guess it was 3,000 to win, something like that. We threw it in there and we went out, and I still punched myself because I think I should have won that race. I started front row and then dropped like an anchor, and we were back to like 6th or something and got going good there at the end. And we're basically, there's pictures, we were basically 3 wide for the lead there. And Cameron, he didn't know I was there. He got up over my left front and I fell back to like 6th again or something. But we were really fast, and that just made us even hungrier for the next one, But that motor ran great, and we were like, well, if it held on to that, we'll try it again. And went out to Farmington next weekend and won. And then, no, I guess Jacksonville was in between there. Went to Jacksonville, had a couple top 5s, and went to Benton and won that. And we were like, dang.
Yeah, I know Brad would post on Facebook every time about that marketplace, $3,000 motor, whatever it was, and I thought that was wild. So then we'll go on after Benton. We got back to Lee County, and then I-70 back-to-back nights. And then another big show in September, the Jesse Hockett Memorial at Lucas Oil Speedway. So Jesse Hockett, I know that's probably a guy that your dad's talked about. I know that was before. You won't remember him, but, man, he was
awesome, man.
He was a gasser. He was fun.
Badass dude, man.
He was he wasn't as good as Kyle Larson, but he was a modern, or the 15 years ago Kyle Larson. He'd jump on a 360, a 410, 9-wing. It didn't matter, and he was fast, and he always put on a show, and he's missed. I remember. Do you remember where we were at, Jeremy, when we found out about Jesse Hockett dying? I do.
I don't really remember.
We were. That was when we was on a bowling team at Farmington.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we was at the bowling alley when we found out.
I don't remember. I remember Doc Sloan calling me and talked, because he drove for Doc for a while, and that's how I met him really good. And he traveled around a few races with us and everything. And he was a cool dude, man. That sucked.
Yeah, it definitely did.
Nobody will ever forget the picture though down at I-30 of coming across the checker flag with the smoke rolling off everything.
The daytime show.
Oh yeah,
that would have been probably like 2008 or so.
Yeah, I don't even remember, but man, that picture was everywhere.
Right? Yeah, I still get chills when Rocket Man comes on, because that video of him, and I know that video I think has been taken down since then, but to me that's the Jesse Hockett song, so I'll always think of that.
Yeah.
And then October, you got 3rd and 4th with Lee County, Iowa, two-day show. And then close out the year with your Power Eye schedule at Texas Motor Speedway, November 7th and then the 8th.
Lee County, where's Lee County actually at?
Donaldson, Iowa?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's, if I remember right, I don't know, I'm going to say hour and a half south of Knoxville. Okay. Somewhere around there. I could be wrong on my time there, but
it's really not that bad of a haul.
It's not. And I really, it's that and 34 Speedway both. They're not terrible drives.
I'd rather go up that way than going down to Texas. Yeah, that drive sucks.
I know. So you won't have a whole lot of time for weekly shows, or I know you're going to try to hit the Outlaws like when they're at Peevely, and close outlaw shows as they make sense as well. And I assume the same would be, you'll try to hit Farmington a handful of times as the schedule allows.
I think we've got Farmington marked down for 4 nights for sure, I think.
Is the Queens Royal one of those?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that should be on an open date, ain't it?
Yeah, it is.
Queens Royal.
Is, yes. Yeah. All the people making schedules this year did really well. They not much overlapping.
So I know, Joe B is a 3-time defending champion. Are you going to be the guy to knock him off?
I would love to be, but I have no idea.
Man, I can remember last year there was a night at Farmington, one of the few nights I went, and there was a night I was so excited because the future of sprint car racing in our area started front row. You and Corbin Keith. And you're smiling because you already know what I'm going to talk about. Man, I had my video camera out. I'm like, this is going to be epic. So why don't you tell us what happened when you guys went in turn 1 on the first lap?
I I know what I did. I have no idea what he was doing, but I just went in and looped it, and I dang near did a 360. I turned her back around enough to where I seen Corbin sitting there, and I was like, dang, if I hit him, I'm gonna be so mad at myself. Yeah. But then I look back at the video, and it's like, no, we were just ballerinas out there.
Yeah, it was exact same time. You guys both went around same time. And then, but the show you two put on from the back, I think you ended up second or third, and you was charging really hard and lost brakes about halfway through.
Yeah, that's another one that hurts really bad.
Yeah. I think if you would have lost brakes, you was going to win that thing. You were coming.
Yeah, I wanted it.
And I look back, and I was so excited about that, and I was like, man, So you and Corbin, you're kind of same age, and go ahead. I'll let you pick that up.
Okay.
You guys, same age, same area. Your dads have raced together against each other. Now you guys are racing against each other. Would you guys say you have a rival at all, or
no?
No,
I wouldn't say so.
You don't want to beat him more than anybody else, or?
No, that's probably Joe B. Not a rivalry either. He's the best around here. When you beat him, it feels good. But no, me and Corbin. Heck, I'll go to his shop on Wednesday night and Mount Tires. He'll come to mine on Thursday and Mount Tires.
That's cool.
It's no big deal.
I know we haven't had him on yet, but we're going to at some point. I know he's going to do a little bit of traveling this year as well. So it's cool to see our future of the sprint cars in this area. Going out and kind of good and bad both, because it sounds like you guys won't be at Farmington much, but you're going to go out and do bigger and better things. So that's what we like to see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have any aspirations of driving anything other than a sprint car?
Not really. A lot of people. Well, Dad makes fun of me. I really want to drive a Silver Crown. I think they're cool. Just looking at them and seeing everything about them. But
have you ever been to one of the races like in person?
No, they're boring.
No, not really. No, that's what that's what everybody thinks. But we already talked about it on another show. I went to DuQuoin and Springfield, and I went with Kent Buckley, and he was like, man, I ought to get one of those. But when you go up there and watch it, it's nuts.
Yeah.
It is nuts. Like, for Danny Long to do it, freaks me out. Like, I can't believe that. Not saying Danny's old, but he's an older dude.
Danny's old.
And he jumps in there and gets in that thing. And he may not have the best stuff out there, but just to go out on that track, and those guys get down to 3/4 of straightaway, and you're like, these guys are stupid.
Yeah.
This is insane.
Yeah.
But it's nuts in person. Because I always see it on on TV and all the different things or videos, and you're like, man, that looks like paint drying sometimes. But man, when you go there, it's sick. It's something totally different. It's like watching Peevely. You watch Peevely and you're like, man, that's pretty cool on TV. But if you're sitting there right next to the fence, you're scared. It's nuts. So no, you need to try to go to a Silver Crown show then, because it's wild. It's pretty cool.
Watching the videos, I'm not sure if any sprint car track can make you as much of a man as Silver Crowns at Belleville will. That looks cool.
Yep.
Yeah, that definitely.
And with all these younger people jumping into Silver Crown, there was only, I think we talked about it was kind of dying, but now a lot of younger people jumping into it. It's just getting faster and faster and faster. And of course that sucks because more money. But it's some of these kids that are jumping in it are just crazy, and it makes it watching it just even more awesome. But yeah, you need to go watch one. And you need to tell your dad you need to get one of those. Yeah. I don't think they're super expensive though.
Hey, they're pretty expensive.
Are they?
Yeah.
Why isn't the motors like? Can't you, or don't you only have to run like a steel block or something?
Yeah, but they're 360s.
I could see the tail tank being about $25,000 because it's the size of a freaking barn.
And then they're on top of the safety equipment pretty hard on that. That's a big expense as well. So no aspirations to ever jump in a midget?
Yeah, I'd love to. You got to tell my mom.
No, I'm not going there.
She doesn't want me to, but I think if I can at least talk her into Chili Bowl or something, that'd be That'd be really cool. Midgets at Jacksonville, you can't hardly beat that either.
Oh man,
so.
right? Yeah.
Yep.
Let's talk about your mom for a minute. Is she a big race fan?
She's a big Gage and Tim Montgomery fan.
Okay.
She likes watching racing. You know, if I come home at night, probably 3 days out of the week, I've got Dirt Vision or Flow or something on, and she'll sit there and watch it. But as far as like keeping up with everything and being all big about it, no, not really. She's more of my T-shirt salesman. She likes that job pretty good.
That's so I'm excited to see the unveil of the car. Hopefully, you said tomorrow.
Yeah, hopefully. Wimpy's been taking care of it last couple of weeks, so hopefully have that back tomorrow and get some pictures posted.
And we got to get that midget deal going. My girlfriend actually does your mom's hair, so I'll have every time she comes, I'll make sure she wears a midget shirt or something.
All right.
Talk about how awesome midgets are.
How safe they are.
Yeah, safe.
Yeah.
Safe is big.
Man, did you realize they made so many safety rules for those midgets? You pretty much, I mean, you could do anything, and it's great.
I've learned you can't tell her you can get more hurt in a sprint car, though, because then she'll take that, too. So.
You got the pillow on the sprint car. The
Yeah.
non-wing's a whole different world.
Yeah.
So, I know we wasn't going to talk about your dad much, but your dad's told me a story a few times about one of the, I won't say the only time, but one of the few times he run non-wing. I want to say it was like maybe Terre Haute. I don't know. It was
It was Bloomington.
Bloomington.
If we're thinking about the same story.
Probably about the time he was qualifying. And I assume I know your mom, and I'm sure you and your sister, you guys were pulling up in the parking lot, and Timmy flipped and about landed on you guys out in the parking lot.
Yeah, so I think if we're thinking about the same thing, the way I understand it, he hit the infield tire,
Yeah.
knocked the drag link off, which knocked the left front brake line off, and he just went out, and I think he landed into like a B-mod or something that was sitting in staging.
Yeah.
Landed into it.
Yeah. Yeah, he's told me that story a few times, and he was like, he said, Mindy and the kids showed up. He said, I just grabbed my shit and walked out.
Yeah.
He said, non-wing ain't for me.
Yeah, where are we eating?
Terre Haute, though, man, you said you've never ran there, but that's a Knoxville to me. It's it's boring. It's just, I don't know. I mean, the non-wing cars do put on a pretty good show, but every time I watch Terre Haute, I just can't get too much into it. But I can't get into Knoxville either. I mean, here and there I can get in there, but you're on the verge of NASCAR to me.
Yeah.
Because you're just driving around there like the short track stuff. I love watching the short track stuff, but of course everybody does because it's a lot more action. But I just can't get into Terre Haute either. It's tough, but man, those guys sell it in there.
Right.
That's for sure.
Especially non-wing, man. They back that thing in there, and it's like, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure that's where Brady Bacon was it last year or before when he sent it out of the park.
Yeah,
I mean,
think so.
I bet you made all kinds of money off those T-shirts. Dude.
right.
That was the coolest T-shirt I've ever seen.
Right. So we haven't had a driver on for a while. We've been doing a lot of promoters and things, so I've been itching to ask this question.
Oh God.
We're the Dirty Right Rear podcast. So tell us about the dirtiest right rear someone's ever given you and the dirtiest right rear you've ever given someone.
Yeah, I was thinking about this for a while. I knew this question would get asked, and
I've been itching to ask that question for a while.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty much no question on the hardest one I've ever given. Jacksonville, end of last year. It was close to the end of last year. I got going good on accident. got up into the curb and was just like accidentally turned it down off of it and drove kind of diamond it, and it was like, dang, that was nice. And got going good doing that. I think we went by Joe B, went by Russell, and then I think it was when I was passing Noah Gas. I ducked under him down the backstretch, and I went to run the top in 3 and 4 down the straightaway, and it was right rear to left front, so he was out of my vision, but I just clobbered him, and I feel terrible for that because when I hit him, I didn't really tear up that much, but he spun, and somebody behind him just got him good, and I was like, dang. And he was obviously he's mad about that. I would have been too. So, but I went and apologized and everything, and I still feel bad about it. But me and him have raced a lot together, and we're going to a lot this year.
Right.
So we've never had any other issue. It's just a kind of fluke deal that I felt terrible.
What about as far as the dirtiest one somebody's gave you?
It's kind of hard to say. I don't guess I've really ever been fed one. You know, I feel like I'm the driver that I don't try to drive around many slide jobs. I'm usually heavy on the brakes. I'd say it'd have to be Burnham Crouch, probably also at Jacksonville. There was one night I started on the pole next to Nieiser, and I was running second, trying to chase him down, and Crouch came blazing through. He started sixth, and I think he fed 5 right rears. So he ran second, or he bulldozed his way through.
Yeah, that happens quite a bit at Jacksonville.
You kind of got to expect it.
Yeah. So we'll ask some non-racing related questions here. What's outside of racing? What's Gage Montgomery do for fun?
A lot of golf. I like golfing a lot. Just recently, I became a pretty big ping pong nerd. We've been playing a lot of ping pong when it's too cold to golf.
I can't. You don't strike me as a ping pong type.
You don't know, bud.
Where's your go-to golf course? Is there one in Fredericktown?
Yeah, so actually, that's where I work as well. I work at the golf course, and obviously that one because it's free. But if I had to go anywhere else, obviously the nicest golf course I've ever played was Top of the Rock in Branson. So
yeah,
that's a pretty good one.
Have you ever got to golf with any of the NASCAR guys, Stenhouse, or any of those guys?
I think we were actually supposed to. Back at Peevely, Ricky came down and Kyle was golfing, and ended up raining, which sucked. So haven't got to do that.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it'll happen. Is your dad a golfer?
He gets in the cart and rides around, and swings a stick every once in a while.
Yeah.
But
See down a beer or two?
I'd say
Yeah.
Who owns Fredericktown Golf Course now?
Stan Nations.
I always thought the guy from Hurryville owned it there for a while, but I don't remember if
He was the
or he took care of it or
yeah,
something. Okay.
He's not there anymore.
So what are you, a junior in high school?
Yeah.
So how, I know the schedule, you're going to have to miss a lot of school.
Yeah, it's not easy. Our school is probably one of the best for letting you out. We get 8 days we can miss before we have to start making them up, and I'm definitely going to plow through those 8 days. So,
Yeah.
but they've got this like recovery class that you can go sit in. You have to stay after school and stuff, which sucks. But I mean, it's the only way you get.
School's different nowadays than when we were in it, though, man. I mean, like I think there's a little bit of flurries out there today. I think every school's off all week, aren't they?
Yeah.
Already? I think they're already canceled.
Are you off school tomorrow, President's Day?
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to have school all week.
Yeah, no kidding. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is it-
Tuesday and Wednesday.
Is it Tuesday morning or Tuesday night when it's coming?
I think about midday Tuesday, 9, 10 o'clock, something like
Yeah.
that. So they're going to cancel.
They're already canceling next
Yeah.
year's school for the snow.
I don't know, man. I'm not going to complain because my wife's a school teacher and she drives from Bonne Terre to Richwoods, so I don't want her driving those roads.
Oh no, that's a rough one there. But
It's
it's just crazy how, I mean, when we were in school, we'd get a foot of snow and they'd be digging the buses out.
Oh, come on now. You're starting to sound like our dads.
I mean,
He hiked too.
I walked to school a couple times because I
Barefoot,
right?
I wanted to really go.
Yeah, I bet you walk all the way from Gumbo.
I didn't I lived by the park, so
Oh, okay.
I didn't live on the outskirts of Gumbo.
Oh, see, okay, yeah.
But I would walk. I put bread bags around my feet. Walked all the way to school because I wanted to go. I loved school.
I bet you did.
No, but I think nowadays, because I know like a lot of Sam's kids, they all go to school, and if you kind of give them like a schedule nowadays, they work with it a lot better than, I mean, we missed a couple days of school and then you were getting
Right.
sent to suspension or something, but I think they work with it a lot better because I don't think people care about it as much. It's just like, school, whatever.
Right. Now, didn't you play basketball for a while?
I played basketball 1 year. I can't even say I played. I was on the team.
You was on the team. That's all right. I guess Fredericktown's actually got a decent little basketball team this year.
Yeah, they're not terrible.
Seen they finished top 4 of the conference tournament this past week.
Yeah.
I don't know if they won the third place game or not, so they was either third or fourth, but
They beat Central.
I think everybody
Yeah.
beat Central in basketball
okay.
this year.
Right. Well, I wasn't really sure,
Hey, that was big for us.
Fredericktown's pretty big, so Central probably didn't play them.
Oh, please.
Yeah. So Fredericktown they played the big schools, you know. And Central was probably out there.
Don't worry, Central can't hear you all the way up in Columbia when they play for state titles. all
Oh
the time.
God, yeah, against Knob Lick.
Hey, it don't matter.
What do you? I'll stop with it just because those teachers are really hammering on me lately.
Well, go ahead.
No, because the other day Central beat. I don't even remember, and Billy goes, "Hey, shoot, I forgot to vote that guy's name now."
John.
I forgot it.
Yeah.
Shoot. Anyway, he sent me a message of how they beat somebody, and I was like, yeah. And then right below it was something else where like North County played like Chicago. And I'm like, well, look at that, man. Look at that. And Central was, I don't even remember who they played. I think it was like Mine Lamont or something like that.
Boy,
But-
you're wearing your boots today?
Well, we're going to stop that because those teachers freaking hammer on me. But what are you going to do when you get out of school? You going to go to college anywhere? You going to kind of,
Yeah, that's the plan. Trying to figure out what way you can go and still race.
yeah.
Yeah.
I plan on, right now the plan is I'll graduate with my associates and I should just be able to go straight to Logan, I think. I'm going to go to chiropractic school and
Ooh, there we
see-
go.
Yeah, see if we like that or not. And
So 15 years from now, 10 years from now, you get a practice open. Remember your first podcast. Well, I assume it's your first podcast. So
Yeah.
remember your first podcast host and, cut us a little deal.
yeah, we'll get you a deal.
Yeah.
Shit, 15 years, you're going to be like 70.
Hey,
That needs a chiropractor
Jesus.
even more.
we'll need it. Yeah, we'll need it even more, man. I got a good chiropractor I go see about once a year in Park Hills now, and God, I need to go more often, but there ain't much better feeling than getting adjusted and popped and cracked. And
That's something I don't do, really.
dude,
I bet you I've been a couple times.
what?
I went, and actually I just went last year because I had something go wrong with me. They put me on that machine where it breaks you in half and does all that, and man, that felt awesome.
Yeah,
I would like to go back every week, but it's just kind of a pain in the butt.
yeah, and then they put that TENS device on you that
Yep.
shocks you and stuff. My wife bought one on Amazon or something. It's awesome. Of course, it's not as good as a chiropractor one. But
No, I would like to have that whole table where it just breaks you in half, man. That thing was freaking awesome.
yeah, for sure. So Gage, tell us, do you have anything you won't do on race day? Any foods you won't eat? Any drinks you won't drink?
Superstition stuff, I
Yeah,
guess.
that's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
No, not. I haven't really ever been superstitious about anything. Usually on race day, I have a couple of Pedialytes and just, I won't eat terrible, but I'm not gonna like watch what I eat. I maybe should, but I don't.
Do you guys have a go-to spot that you have to eat at?
No, usually we're running so late. QT is our
QT.
go-to spot.
Yeah,
That's every racer's go-to
Right.
thing. I think when I traveled around with Sloan there for a while, I think we lived off taquitos.
Hot
Yeah.
dogs and
Everywhere,
taquitos.
yep.
And them little blueberry things.
it's funny. So so you guys always last minute at the track still, huh? I know your dad was notorious for that at
Yeah.
Farmington.
We did better there at the end of last year. We did better, but still not great. But this year, if we're out on the road, we have no excuses. We can get there
Right.
early enough and get stuff done.
You'll be living the hotel life, doing the hotel
Yeah.
parking lot maintenance, and
We're not too. We're pretty used to that though.
Oh, yeah.
After these past few years,
what does Donnie Cooper travel with you quite a bit?
he did. Not travel with us, but he was always a parts guy for Power Eye.
Okay.
I was wondering if he still did that, man. He's got to be getting old too,
He's getting up there. He'll tell you that. But
because he's been doing that for a long time.
yeah, I don't think he's gonna do it this year. I don't guess.
Really?
But he might. He may. I may be spreading false news, but I don't think he is.
I know Mike Harris is a good friend of your dad's. Does he go with you guys a little bit, I guess, when travel schedule allows.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that when you said anybody go help you. Mike, he'll show up every once in a while if it makes sense for him, and
Yeah.
he's good help. It's always good to have somebody who's not as invested, a little more of a positive attitude when stuff goes wrong. And him and Mandy, oh, that's a show when you get my mom and Mandy together.
I know you guys do vacations and our trips together quite a bit, the two families, so I'm sure that's a hoot.
Yeah, it's a fun time always.
And Mike's been around forever.
Yeah.
He's been around forever too.
He's helped your dad for long as I can remember.
Yeah.
Mike told me a story. I didn't know it. He was from Florida or lived in Florida for a while or something, and then come back and as far as I know, he's been helping your dad a long time.
Yeah, he's probably one of the I don't know how to put this. One of the few people that Dad would enjoy having help him. Dad was always kind of a just let me do my thing kind of deal, and Mike's
right.
Mike's a really good. We'll do it your way. I'll just do what you tell me to do type of guy. So
yeah, Mike is pretty quiet too. So.
Yeah, which is also good.
We a couple weeks ago when we had Lauren Kelly on, he told us the story about how you caught his eye. You guys were at Jacksonville running a 305, and it was a show that you had flipped early in the feature or something, destroyed the wing, the wing was barely hanging on, and you just let her eat. You put her on the high side and drove up to like second or third. And he's like, I've got to promote that kid. He's going to be something.
Yeah.
Do you remember that night?
I do. And it seems like I say this every race you bring up, but that was another one that hurt because we started front row. And what it was, I don't think we tore up the wing, but a lap car, we were running second. It was like 3 laps in. Lap car wrecked on the back stretch and was facing if this is the wall, he was facing this way. And I tried to make it through there, and I just clipped his rear bumper with the left front, knocked the drag link off. So I was able to yell loud enough to Dad and Brady. They were standing outside the fence, and they came running down with the drag link under red and got it changed and went to the back. And drove up to second or third.
What is your favorite track? Which track?
I like any place that gives us a place to race, but I'd say Lucas Oil's definitely up there, and Benton.
Yeah.
And probably I like a lot of racetracks. Jacksonville and that Callaway Raceway, that place was cool. Yeah. That's like a Missouri Lernerville.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Now, do you was too young to remember when your grandpa and Larry Minko are promoters of the racetrack, but I'm sure you've heard a lot of stories on those days.
Yeah. Larry is probably one of the best guys you'd ever meet. He just a really down to earth guy, and he's been a big help to our race team. Really, he never wanted a name on the car, never wanted anything, but you'd come to the racetrack and he'd give you some money to get your pit pass or buy a tire or something, and stuff like that helps a lot.
Now, I know a lot of guys that do that. Does that happen quite often, or is that more common than people might think?
I don't know for other people's standpoints. For us, it's mainly just him. There's a few guys that will go out and give us $200 here, $200 there. You could just see them at a restaurant and they'd be like, "How's racing going?" "Well, here, I want you to have this,"
Right.
But Larry, he's definitely the most consistent, and he's just good to have around the racetrack. He's kind of like Mike, he's just happy guy. And
I think there's a ton of guys behind the scenes that like to help, but they just once you get your name out there, your phone blows up.
And yep, that's exactly.
And so there's tons of race fans out there. They have their handful of drivers that they're like, man, I see this guy going somewhere, or I just like this guy,
right?
And stuff like that. And I think it's just more of they don't have a business or nothing like that. So
yeah,
once you get known for handing somebody $20. I mean, it's over.
Yeah, it's
You know, you're gonna get bombarded, which, you know, I get it. I mean, everybody wants that help, and racing's expensive as crap, so I get it. But you know, I think a lot of guys like that. Every kind of racer has that person, has somebody in their group that helps them, and then, you know, you don't see anything about it or whatever. But I think every racer that really is out doing things has somebody like that. Just they want to be a part of the team, and I mean, what better way, you know?
Right. You know, I've often tried to help people. You know, I don't have a lot of money by no means, but there's been a few times where, you know, I've helped guys just because I want to. You know, I appreciate what they do, or, you know, or classes. I've done that quite a bit, you know, increase the purse on classes. I enjoy doing that kind of thing.
That's like I always said, if I had a ton of money, Danny Long would always have new stuff just because he treated me cool.
Yeah.
Every time I went in there, man, he would always be super cool to me, and then he would tell me about everything, and I get to hear a new story that I was like, holy crap, that's cool. And if I always had, that's why I said that, oh man, episodes and episodes ago, that,
Right.
you know, he would always have whatever he wanted if I just was a millionaire.
Yeah. Danny is a good dude, one of my favorite people, and actually hung out with him last night. We had my daughter's birthday party, and he was there, and yeah, Danny's a character.
I guess, well, I mean, we've already talked about Danny a whole bunch. I was going to change the subject a little bit, so we're good now. But is Joey ever going to race again?
Oh, you know, you always get the threats.
Yeah.
There's always the threats that.
Do you tell him he don't really need to because you're just going to put it to him?
No, I tell him, come on. Yeah, I want to race with him. Dad's the same way. You know, I can fit in that seat. Okay, well, come on.
You can fit in it, but
Right.
what else? What are you going to do after that?
Yeah.
I remember one of my first nights in a push truck years and years ago, and I got pushed Timmy off, and I'm like, man, this is just, you know, pushing off one of my idols. This is cool. I felt like I was pushing off Steve Kinzer. And then over the years, I've, you know, got to, you know Timmy, be friends with him, and, you know, it's just got to be wild to a lot of pressure to grow up with a Montgomery name.
Yeah, and I think any pressure that I have with the Montgomery name, I put it on myself. I don't think it's any other doing, but still, like I said, it's not something I'm sitting and staging, you know, and you're like, hey,
Right.
My dad was good, I got to run good, you know. It's just, it's almost overlooked. Like, I appreciate how good he was, even though I didn't get to see it, but it's not something I hold over my own head very heavily.
Right. My favorite part was, you know, so many drivers over the years have made the comment something like, Timmy is the best driver nobody's ever heard of. And, you know, I always thought that was a huge compliment.
Yeah.
But got anything else you want to cover with Gage?
Well, like how many feature wins did you have last year?
Just two.
Just two?
Yeah, we had a
I know Benton and
start.
Farmington, right?
Yeah.
Was that the two?
Yep. With that motor.
Oh yeah.
Any clue over your years racing how many feature wins you've picked up?
No, I don't know. There was those first few years in a Gage kart, I feel like we was almost just ahead of the game. You know, we just kind of had we just had more knowledge, I feel like. So we clicked off a lot there, but
Yeah.
once I got into the bigger kart stuff and we started going to like Oklahoma and stuff, you get your butt handed to you and you're like, dang, maybe we were just all right, you know, we weren't on top of the world, but
Till you get to the sprint car game, Oklahoma is the place to go get beat up.
yeah.
I mean, in every class, man. Every time we go down there last year, it's the place to. I mean, if you want to get fast, you go to Oklahoma or you go to Indiana.
Yeah, like when we was racing those karts, you go to Flickerwood, whoever can keep their left front on that disc the best is going to win, and you go to the Coliseum, whoever keep their left front on the disc and not bounce off the track, you're going to win it. And then you go up to Oklahoma, and it's like whoever can put their right rear in the hay bales is going to win it. It's like, dang.
What's the name of that track in Oklahoma that everybody goes to a couple times a year? It's real high banked.
Shawnee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that place looks.
That was some of the most fun stuff you'd ever have.
Yeah, it's I've watched that on pay-per-view a couple of times, and I'm like, oh my goodness.
It looks like a yard cart place.
Yeah.
That's just crazy high banked, and everybody just gets in there and just
Then they roll
goes
their
ape shit.
Yeah, they roll their $20,000 outlaw carts
Yep.
out and
Just
bang the
beat
fence
the
down.
crap out of everything from the wall to each other to everything.
Yeah, I still think those are probably the bravest race car drivers I've ever seen. They get that banking. It was like 12 foot of banking, and when you went off the top, you just went out. There was nothing else. There was some hay bales, but once you got through them, you were gone, and they didn't care. They were just.
Is there a driver that you've passed on the racetrack that as you're passing them, you're like, holy shit, I just passed?
Yeah, there's been a few of those. I guess the first time was probably at Donaldson so I started front row of that heat race, and Aaron Reitzel and Joe B started second row, I guess. And Reitzel got down to my inside on like the second lap, and I just flew past him on the backstretch, and I was like, holy crap. It was like, I don't even need to finish out the night. My night's already made, And
You must have had that heavier frame then.
yeah. And then there's a few. I mean, Lake Ozark. At that high limit show at Lucas Oil last year, that was the first major series show I ever made, and we got rolling pretty good. We made it. I guess we drove by Eliason and the B and transferred, and then got in the show, and we were going past PPM and Carson McCarl and Brian Brown. We were just driving past them.
Over Brian Brown, go Chiefs now. Every interview he did like last week, go Chiefs. He's got to be kind of like, crap.
Yeah.
That's all right. I mean,
No.
But that's got to be a wild feeling passing some of these guys that you consider idols, or who's the one guy you haven't beat but you want to? Is there one guy that you're like, gosh, I just want to beat this guy?
It was Joe B forever, and it still probably is. I mean, it feels like every show I run 8th, he runs 7th.
Right.
I run 6th, he runs 5th, or he wins it and I run 2nd. It's like every time, and it's almost like a curse, because like there's like probably 3 times my first season I'd finally get a night, I'd get going, and I'd go to slide him, and I'd clear it, caution come out. It's like every time.
I'd say, this year, I mean, you're definitely going to have, with the schedule and everything, you're going to be, improving. But I mean, to see Joe B and all them, they're going to be right there. They're going to run the same deal.
Yeah,
so
it's gonna be tough.
A lot of our, not really our local guys, but a lot of our guys like that. I mean, that's going to put Joe B in another level too. I mean, to chase that whole thing, and who knows where he'll go next year or the following year. And then same with you running that whole schedule, man, that's just you got to run with fast guys to be fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's just the way it is.
That's definitely going to, make you a faster, better driver. And I feel like personally, last year especially, you really became a race car driver. Like, not saying you wasn't before, but you just really seemed to mature in the car and be patient the few times I seen you, and just develop a lot as a driver. So I only expect more of that this year.
Yeah, it's been a big deal for me. It's just trying to learn how to drive better than just your gas and brake pedal, just being able to think and realize how long your race is, where you're at, and just having a little bit of racecraft.
Right.
And another big thing is, you always hear people say it, take that 8th place car and run 5th. Don't wreck trying to win it with an 8th place car,
Right.
And that's going to be big this year with the points thing, just being able to, sometimes you got to take your medicine and just get out there with a decent finish than trying to go win the thing.
Right, definitely. Now, I know your dad, especially toward the end of his career, I can't remember the beginning. I was too young, but he was known as a catfisher and bottom, through the middle, through the slick a lot. What would you say Gage is known? Are you a cushion runner?
Not a big cushion runner. I'd say anytime you go to Jacksonville, you have to be a cushion runner.
Yeah.
But like, I can remember it was Bloomington last year. it was just a foot tall curb in qualifying, just a dead slick to a foot tall curb. Everybody's flying off the racetrack, and I went out there and I was like, that middle looks pretty muddy, Dad. And he's like, yeah, you may try it one lap. So I did it both, and ended up going like 6th quick or something. And it's like, sometimes you don't have to be the guy that goes up and bangs it down, but
Bloomington's pretty cool. Did you like that place?
I didn't.
You didn't?
Not really.
I liked watching it.
It was my own fault because, like I said, we went 6th quick, and then I had an incident. We missed the scales, got DQ'd, started the tail of the heat, and I think we were running a transfer in the B, and then driveline had a U-joint break.
Yeah, that was that one of the shows during your 3-day?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. And that was the only show you didn't make.
Yeah.
All right, got any other questions for Gage?
That's about it, man. John Jones.
John Jones. Okay,
Sorry, that didn't have nothing to do with him, but that's that guy from the Votech. I couldn't remember his last name for some reason. Yep, he's the one that's going to be crap about it. But anyway, that's about all I got. I'm going to wrap this up.
Wrapping up episode 10 with Gage Montgomery. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me, and I just gotta say thanks for the podcast, and everybody we're gonna have some merch coming out soon, and you can follow us on the Facebook page, keep up with everything, and hopefully have a good year.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll see you somewhere.
Yeah, and we'd probably like to try to get you on after your year's done, and recap your year. And,
mostly if you do something cool.
I'm gonna try.
Yeah. So, all right, that's a wrap on episode 10 of the Dirty Right Rear podcast. Thanks, everybody. We got us a new sponsor for the Dirty Right Rear podcast. Box 3 Media provides race teams across the U.S. with social media management, graphics for race days, sponsor announcements, professionally written press releases, exclusive product partnerships, and so much more. Take your reach and exposure to the next level for your team and your sponsors. Contact Lauren Kelly with Box 3 Media today by emailing box3racing@gmail.com or calling 920-905-0268.
Hey guys, this is Jeremy Booyer and Jeremy Sutton here with the Dirty Right Rear podcast. We want to highlight one of our sponsors, supporters, and everything else with Expert Graphics, Powder Coating, and Fabrication. Expert Powder Coating and Fabrication is a family-owned business out of Farmington over in the industrial park. You can go over there and get some graphics, lettering, anything for your race cars. Get some powder coating done for your race cars, any other kind of stuff. Get any kind of fabrication also done with them. You can come over there and talk to Andy Moss. He's in there just plugging away at the computer, designing everything, doing whatever he can. You got Dennis in the back with his lab coat, mixing up the powder coat, really getting the stuff going. And then you got Dan over there just fabricating anything and everything you want. But if you want to hit them up, Expert Powder Coating over in Farmington at the industrial park, you can give them a call, 573-756-7324.